whether small businesses or big businesses, SMEs or even micro businesses, the first thing is to plan. The first thing is to know where you are coming from and where you are going. You have inputs. For instance, if you are like what now? Let's use the example of somebody who is selling biscuits. Yeah, you have to know how much you bought your biscuits. After how much you bought your biscuits, you must know the cost of transportation. You rented a shop where you sell your biscuits. You have to factor it in. You use probably NEPA, which is PHCN now. Maybe AEDC because we are in Abuja. You use AEDC, you use energy. You have to factor in the cost of energy. You probably have staff. You have to factor in the cost of staff. And you are also a staff, You are also a staff, and you also pay yourself salary aside from paying those other people that you employ. You have to factor it in. You pay taxes. You have to factor all those things in. Everything you have to. Nowadays, you also have megads, which we call security. You also factor it in. After you factor in everything, then you now base your cost on it, because you do it and you also have your markups too. You understand? Because after you have broken even on cost, you also have to have some markups. That's your profit. That's how you do it. Meanwhile, as a small business, you have to know that it is important for you to be mindful of not making too much profits, so that you can remain competitive. You understand? It's good to be competitive. You don't want to sell this one and lose that customer because he has tried another place and discovered that the prices are better in those places. He will not come back. So those are the things some of the factors that you consider when you are setting your price as a small business. Yes, there are. For instance, like I said earlier, you have to first of all properly calculate your costs, your inputs, everything that you are doing. You calculate it. It's after doing this calculation that you now determine the appropriate pricing that you have to put in. So once you do that, you then fix your price. And don't forget, I also mentioned it earlier, everything included, transportation, blah, blah, blah. You see, there is a problem that small businesses have, especially new entrepreneurs. The problem that they have is they are not able to remove what they were doing. If you are a journalist, for instance, you earn your normal pay from journalism, or you are a civil servant, or you earn salary, and then you also say you want to do side hustle. So you have a shop, or you have another kind of business that you do. So what you do is you be careful so that you are not putting money from that other thing that you are doing and deceiving yourself that you are making profit from the business. It is usually a pitfall for new entrepreneurs, because they don't know when they are already bringing money from another source to put into that business that they are doing. So many times they deceive themselves that they are making profit or they are breaking even, until at the end of the day maybe something happens and somebody just nudged them and they discover that so I have not really been making profit. So those are some of the things that you do. Now there are two ways. First of all, it could be through direct reduction in prices. For instance, during let's say Christmas or Ramadan is fast approaching, during Ramadan there are things that people will usually buy. They will buy fruits, because when they are breaking their fast in the evening, they take fruits. There are certain foods that are popular during that time. So if you're in that niche, for instance, you are that kind of business, so you already know that at that time more people are coming to buy, so you are sure of volume. So because of the volume, you can reduce price a little, because volume will now drive your profit. If you are selling 10 and you are making 5 naira, and now if you can sell 100 and you make 3 naira, you know that you have made up for it. So that's a way to do it. Then also, you can also develop the habit of follow-ups. For instance, if you have a customer, the first time that the customer comes, you welcome the customer very well, you smile at him, you relate well with the person, you take the phone number. By the time he has left, maybe 30 minutes, 1 hour after, you just make a simple call, or you do a text message. How are you? How was? I hope you enjoyed our service. And then maybe you also ask for their birthdays and so on and so forth, or wedding anniversary, or during Christmas, or during Salah celebration. You send a simple text. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. You understand? From your blah blah blah. And the person sees it and say, this is a nice, this is a good, very good person. And then he wants to continue to do business with you because of your personal relationships. So those are some of the ways that you can do it without losing money. You can also deploy the strategy that I just explained. You don't have to lower price when you are calling somebody you don't have to lower price. Again, you must also ensure that your goods are of qualitative standard. So if somebody buys from you today and says that this thing is expensive, tomorrow if he tries another shop and buys there for something a little cheaper, and when he gets home he discovers that this is fake, or this is not as qualitative as the one I bought from that place, you have already advertised yourself. So the next time that person will come back, trace back to your shop, and buy from you. In IT language, there's something that they say about garbage in, garbage out. You certainly will not sell at lower prices from what you bought. So that's first of all, that's the first law of survival and of doing well in business. Aside that, you also have to ensure that you are not a Shylock. Like the question you first asked, it's not the first day that you start business that you want to make the entire profit for the year. You lower your cost reasonably enough for you to make profit and for the customer to also return. It depends on where your business is. You understand? Where your business is. For instance, let's look at Dangote refinery and NNPC refinery. You know that even though the federal government, the federation owns NNPC, Dangote is private, but Dangote refinery is 650,000 barrel capacity per day. NNPC has 2 functional refineries now, but those 2, when you compare their capacity, they are still infinitesimal as compared to Dangote. So because Dangote is big, is able to compete, is able to lower his price. Right now Dangote is selling his PMS, I think, for 925 naira per liter in Lagos, but NNPC is not able to do that. NNPC is selling for, I think, 945 or 955. So there's a limit to which you also have to compete depending on where you are. You have to grow big first. So what do? You now deploy some other strategies. For instance, good relationship. You develop good relationship with your people. You let the people know that what you sell is of higher quality than the others. There are also different other things that people do which may not be may not be, what do I call it now? May not be healthy. For instance, somebody going on air to go and buy 2 liters of to show us that he has bought a liter each of different PMS from different filling stations, and that one burnt out in 13 minutes, 17 minutes, and the other burnt out in 30 minutes. That's unhealthy, because we obviously know that that's not correct. That's not a proper thing. But it's also another strategy that people can use, underhand strategies. But the best thing is, one, you may also run away from that place. If you are close to that other customer that is bigger than you may leave that place and go further down and see that you are away from somebody who is bigger than you and they want to run you down. Yeah, it's also market factors. What they call demand and supply. Inflation is also part of it. Inflation, security, those other factors. What do you put in? Your input will determine your output, essentially. If your input is low, naturally you know that you lower your input. For instance, in the last, say, three going to 4 weeks, the naira has appreciated. Yeah, both at the official market and the parallel market. Some weeks ago, the naira was exchanging for about 1,670 at the parallel market. Today, it's less than 1,000. It's about 1,500. 1,500. So naturally, you know that the input is already going low. So you also lower your price, because some of your competitors will not want to lower their prices. They want to take advantage and make maximum advantage of it. But when you lower your price a bit, people will flock towards you naturally. Yeah, is by also being watchful, being aware of what's going on in your environment, being a keen follower of events in the market. For instance, we just spoke about currency exchange now, and we know that in Nigeria, our inflation is mainly pushed through in the sense that it is imported inflation. It is because of the currency exchange. For instance, the dollar, if you still want to buy this laptop from America or from China, it's likely that the price that it was being sold for 2 years ago is still the price that they are still selling it. But because of the devaluation, of depreciation of the naira, the price has gone up here. So you'll be aware. Once you know that this naira is already gaining in strength, then you also will be careful. You want to buy something, you get to your customer, and it says it's still the same price as 3 weeks ago. You say no. Why not? Things are changing. So as a consumer, you have to be aware. As a consumer, you have to also do market survey. You try and see. Don't insist that you have a steady customer. Yeah, don't insist that you have a steady customer. Go to different markets. Go online. Do different kinds of shopping. Ask around, and then you'll be able to do the best bargain. In secondary school, they taught us things about articles of ostentatious display. Now, ostentation is not about value, it's about class. So, if you want to show class, you want to tell people, this is so. So, for instance, the same cloth that someone will buy at the Wuse market there with my Igbo brothers who have boutiques in Wuse market, say for 25,000 naira a shirt. You go to some other highbrow shops and they say it's 150,000 naira. Yes, and that's what some people want to buy, because when they are talking among their peers, they want to say, I bought it at Hilton. So those are some of the factors. It's a matter of being greedy and lowering your expectation. Greed in the sense that if you are greedy, you just want to acquire everything. So once you hear that there is a price reduction, you acquire even when you don't need it. When you don't need it, you just acquire it. So the best thing to do is to plan. Money is not something that comes easy anywhere in the world, especially here in Nigeria. So what do you do when you hear that there is a sales, the general sales somewhere? You say, okay, how much is it? What do I need? First of all, you make a compilation, a list of your essential items. What do I need? It is based on what you need that you go and buy. You just don't buy because they say it's cheaper. So you just acquire it. How do you know that it will not be cheaper tomorrow? If they say it's cheaper today, it may still be cheaper tomorrow. And people have fallen into that kind of trap. Recently, they were saying that things will be that Christmas is just over. People who brought in dollars from abroad, they will soon go back and the naira will fall. But has the naira fallen? So those who fell into that trap and bought naira, expecting that they will make gains, they are biting their fingers right now. So don't be a compulsive buyer. Don't be an impulsive acquirer. Just be careful. Know what you want. Make a list and make your plans. Again, you want to look around. You want to be sure what is the best bargain. If you want to get something, don't just go to a particular market, a particular area, and say you want to buy. It's likely that the prices will be comparable. But if you want to buy, for instance, we're in the FCT, try Wuse Market, try Garki Market, try Utako Market. After you have compared prices, and nowadays you don't have to be going physically. You just go online and you go and Google Utako Market, blah blah blah. You see, so you can compare prices. By the time you compare prices, that's the first step. You know which one is better. Again, you can also buy in bulk. For instance, at the end of the year, you may say, maybe in January, you may say, okay, in my family, how many bags of rice are we likely to eat in 2025? And then you go to the market. Rather than go every month to go and buy little quantities, you just say, okay, I want to buy 2 bags. Naturally, when you buy a bag, the price that you are paying is different from when you are buying in moodles. So that's another way to do things. And then if you have customers, you also go there and tell the person, I'm buying, you bargain like an African. And we know, even from, I remember a secondary school set book, English set book that we read, where it was stated that in Africa, if you go to the market woman is not happy that she gives you a price and you just paid. No. She wants you to bargain. That's Africa. So what you also do is to learn that art. You also bargain. You also use your native intelligence. You also deploy your charm. That way you'll be able to pinch 1 naira here, 2 naira there. Yeah, by reducing little prices. But it's not only price, because there are times when you are at your wit's end. For instance, right now in Nigeria, because of the economic situation, many products, many businesses do not have the luxury of increasing prices anyhow. So what they just do is to say, let me just have a little markup so that I can just have something and go home. So what you do is, you also, part of that, you remove it a bit so that you satisfy your customer. But beyond that, you use your charm, you use your friendliness, you deploy things like better customer relations, to make to attract customers to yourself. It cannot keep them happy. What it's the best thing that it will do is to ameliorate their suffering by what you are doing now, smiling at them. It's like what do they call now? Mice. In Africa, they talk about some mice. They say if you are sleeping and you are a heavy sleeper, it can begin to bite off your toes and be blowing it. If you bite it a little, it will blow it. So that way you will not know anything that is happening to you. Or, if you are going to prepare snail, you put the snail in cold water. You put the cold water on fire. The snail is happy that the water is cold, so it comes out. The snail is enjoying the cold water, but gradually the water is getting warm. By the time the snail realizes it is trapped, so you just remove it. So that's what you do. But the customer will not be happy that he is spending more than he spent last month. It's just that you will deploy public relations strategy to soothe his pains. We know how conditions are generally, economically now, for most Nigerians. So the thing to do is to temper our expectations. Things will be better, but before things get better, people should deploy ways to make their own lives better. Temper your expectations. Know that tough times don't last, but tough people do.